Heyo, it's Omnidog here. How's it going? Let me make an adjustment here. There we go. How is everybody doing? And welcome to Omnidog's Vault, where I have some scary book suggestions for October 2019. Two of them are pretty well known, so I will not spend a whole huge amount of time on them, but I will review them. And one is not very well known at all, but I will spend some time on it. And I liked all of them. Spoiler alert, I like a lot of books. I like these a lot. The first one I'll cover is very well known. Lots of people, lots of buzz on this book. That is The Immortal Hulk. And now you can see the blurb up there from Kieran Gillen, the best horror comic of the year. Now, Immortal Hulk, it's kind of a different horror book, but it is a scary, kind of different Hulk book because Hulk can't die. Bruce Banner is Bruce Banner during the day, and then at night he turns into the Immortal Hulk. And they call him the Immortal Hulk because he can't die somehow. He was shot, last time we saw him, he was shot with a precise arrow shot from Hawkeye right into the exact spot in his brain where he wanted to be shot and killed with the arrow from Hawkeye, and apparently it did not do its job. And he, in the first part of the book, he becomes a bit of an avenging angel, where he is comes alive at night and avenges some crimes, some deaths, some assaults from people, from some not necessarily criminals, but some people that from some a guy that kind of panicked and shot some stuff up, and he really obviously shouldn't have, and he panicked, and Hulk avenged the people that were shot and killed. And so he's a bit of an avenging angel in the first story arcs. The artwork is really good. Al Ewing just does a fantastic job writing this story. In the following stories, it takes a bit of a different turn. You get Sasquatch showing up, and a little bit of the Alpha Flight with Captain Marvel, and it takes a bit of a different turn where we see Hulk being pursued, and you're not sure exactly who's pursuing him. You see it's Sasquatch actually, who he's, but is it really Sasquatch, or has somebody hitchhiked into Sasquatch's? You see a picture right here that shows a reflection of who it looks like Bruce Banner's father. So some being or entity has hitchhiked into Sasquatch and has made a kind of is now pursuing Hulk. And so the book is 10 issues long, plus an Avengers, a little bit of an Avengers stuff is included, and it is remarkably good. It is really, really cool. I have to say it's not really traditional horror, but it is very different, and it is much scarier and creepier than usual Hulk. So by the end, it's got Hulk. It's got Hulk fighting with the Absorbing Man, and he's, you see Hulk there just withered away to hardly anything. And this is how good it is. It finishes with just issue 10, and I immediately went to Marvel Unlimited, and I saw that they had issues like 11 through 16 or 17 because I couldn't stop. I was like, okay, I've got to keep reading this. It's so good that I've just got to keep reading this. I can't wait for the next oversized hardcover. Forget it. I've got to keep reading it. That's how good it is. So I highly, highly recommend Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing. It is amazing. I really loved it. Not horror in the traditional sense, but scary Hulk compared to usual Hulk. And so the next book that is very well known, these are 3 big oversized hardcovers, and that's Nailbiter. Nailbiter 1, and these are beautiful oversized hardcovers from Image. These are really nice. And they took a while to come out. Nailbiter 2, and I think these are the DCBS ones. Yeah, these are all the DCBS variants. And this is Nailbiter 3, and these are well known. So I can show you everybody, I think, probably, I mean, I'm still going to review them, but I think everybody knows the general premise. Buckaroo, Oregon, like 16 famous serial killers have come from Buckaroo, Oregon. And, I got this one signed by Josh Williamson. So it's gory, it's disturbing, it's visceral, it's gross, it's nauseating. It's really good. It's a gory thriller that's horrifying, and it's a awesome book. I mean, this is just one of the books that I just if you like it, this is horror. This is really good because it's the human condition, and it is it is brilliant, and that's not really that good of a scene to show. But like 16 serial killers have come from Buckaroo, Oregon, and the FBI and some other people are wondering why. Why are all these serial killers coming from Buckaroo, Oregon? And so an FBI agent who's on leave because an interrogation that he did kind of went wrong. And when I say kind of went wrong, I think the person he was interrogating, he accidentally killed him. And he gets summoned there by a friend of his who's in the FBI, who says he's cracked the code. He's figured out why everything has happened there to create these serial killers and why they come from Buckaroo, Oregon. And so the FBI agent goes there, and a few things happen, and he ends up partnering up with the local sheriff. And let's see, the person that the FBI agent that he went to find is missing at first, and they can't find him. So here's a look at some of the artwork, and the book is called Nailbiter. This is really hideous. It's called Nailbiter because the serial killer who's called the Nailbiter likes to chew on the fingernails of his victims. I won't go into any more detail there because there's more detail to it. I won't go into any more detail than that. I'll just tell you that. But it deals with a lot of serial killers. It's extremely detailed and gory. This is, let's see if I can show this. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I can't really show. This is a mature book. And it's 3 thick books. So there's a lot of story here because there's a lot that goes on in this book. This is not just a strict investigation. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on in this book. Conspiracy and all kinds of history and relationships, all kinds of crazy oddballs, and obviously oddballs, and there's all kinds of weirdness going on. I mean, but it's really well done. If you like crime, mystery, suspense, horror, that's really well done, then this is the book for you. Now, one thing that's interesting that plays into this is that the sheriff, who is a woman, used to date, back before he became a serial killer, the Nailbiter, and that plays into this book very heavily. The nature of their relationship back in high school. After high school, he is when he became the serial killer, and she became a sheriff, and so it plays into it. And so there's a lot of psychological, mysterious stuff. There's a lot of psychological stuff that goes on in this book. It's really well written. I think there's a lot of if I'm right, and if I'm remembering this right, there's a lot of, if I'm remembering it right, there's a lot of controversy over the ending. I thought the ending was fine. I felt it wrapped it up neatly. I felt it was a good stopping point. I felt it was a good, solid end. And it put us like a stake in the ground. Boom, there was the ending, and it was good. I think some people, I'm not sure what some people's objections were to it, because I felt it was fine. And it ended the book fine as far as I was concerned. So that's just my opinion. Some people may feel differently. I felt the ending was absolutely, the last couple of chapters, as far as I'm concerned, made up the ending, and I felt it was all ended up, I think, very well. I think that the whole series was wrapped up really well. So I highly recommend Nailbiter. You have to have a strong stomach because it can get pretty gory, but it is a good kind of police procedural that's a gory FBI kind of Law and Order gone crazy murder spree, lots of blood and gore type thing. So this is definitely on the mature side, in my opinion. So, but it's good. Nailbiter, very good. I highly recommend it for a spooky October read. Then the last book is The Occultist from Dark Horse. Yes, this is my friend Kyle sent me this book, I think, a while ago, and I got around to reading it for October. And in this book, the kid is named Rob. He is, I believe, just starting out in college, and he works in a rare bookstore, and he opens up a book, and the book is calling to him, and he's like, what's going on? This book is calling to me. And in the book is something called the sword, and the sword chooses Rob, and this is an ancient power, and it chooses Rob, and he becomes endowed with all these powers now, all these supernatural powers. The book has the book that contained the sword. The book is powerful, but the sword is the most powerful thing, and he is now the living embodiment of the sword. These three guys have shown up to try and get the book because they want the sword, and they end up killing the guy who is the old man who's in charge of the antique store, but he lives on in sort of ghost form throughout the rest of the story. And so Rob gets all these powers, and here are the assassins that are sent to try and get take down Rob. So here, and he, of course, there's a sexy detective that's involved now too, and he he's the first arc is the first, I would say, half of the story is his being attacked, and they try and get him. They want to get the sword away from him. This other group of people, they want to attack and get the sword away from him, which would involve killing him, of course. And he's using all kinds of magic powers. The art is really good. The story is really, really good. It's by Tim Seeley, so I really liked it. And it's a very good supernatural occult type story. It is exactly up my alley. I really liked it a lot. Second half of the story, it really gets pumping along. It's really all about some wild kind of astral traveling, where they're like astral traveling to not only out amongst the stars and the planets, but a different plane entirely. And it's really remarkable what is going on in this, where they are astral traveling. He meets a group of people that want to get involved with him and astral travel. So it is a really, really cool book with lots of really remarkable concepts and stories about the occult and supernatural stuff, and his being able to use his occult powers as the occultist. And I highly recommend this book. It is a ton of fun, deals with his relationships with his old girlfriend and his new relationship with Detective Melendez, and what it is, what it could be, things like that. And so it's a really good book, and not enough people know about it, and so I highly recommend it. The Occultist. And that is part one of the scary books for October. So thank you for watching, and please feel free to leave a comment. Please hit the like button, and please feel free to subscribe. If you leave a comment, I always respond. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for part two, which I will do in another day or two. Thank you. Peace and love. Peace and love.